My family always forgot my birthday but rented out ballrooms for my sisters. This year, I didn't complain, just closed on a beachfront condo. Their reactions online were instant and furious. I'm Sarah Martinez, the older daughter in what most people would consider a successful family. My parents, Robert and Linda, own a chain of furniture stores across 3 states. My sister Emma is 24, works in marketing for a tech startup, and has always been what you'd call the golden child. Me? I'm a software engineer who's been quietly building my career and savings while living in a modest apartment across town. The birthday thing started when we were kids. Emma was born in June, right when school ended, so her parties were always these massive summer affairs. Pool parties with 30 kids, bounce houses, pony rides, you name it. My birthday is in February, and somehow it always got complicated. Too close to Christmas, people are busy, weather's bad, Emma has a school project due. There was always an excuse. When I turned 16, the year most parents go all out, my parents forgot entirely. Not a card, not a cake, nothing. They remembered 3 days later when Emma mentioned it. Their solution? A grocery store cake and a $20 gift card to Target. That same year, Emma's Sweet 16 had a professional photographer, a DJ, rented linens, and a guest list of over 100 people. I told myself it would get better as we got older. It didn't. Last year, for Emma's 23rd birthday, my parents rented the ballroom of the Marriott downtown. They hired a caterer, had custom invitations designed, and flew in our aunt and uncle from California. The whole thing probably cost $15,000. 2 months later, on my 27th birthday, they were too busy with inventory season to plan anything. I spent it alone with Chinese takeout and Netflix. This year was supposed to be different. I've been dropping hints since January about wanting to celebrate my 28th birthday in a meaningful way. Nothing extravagant, just something that showed they remembered and cared. When February rolled around, I watched my phone hopefully all day. Nothing. Around 6 p.m., I got a text from my mom, "Happy birthday, sweetie. Rain check on dinner? Emma's having boy trouble and needs us." That was it. 28 years on this planet, and I got a text message while they consoled Emma about her latest dating drama. But here's the thing, I'd been planning something they didn't know about. For the past 3 years, I've been living well below my means. While Emma was buying designer handbags and taking Instagram-worthy vacations funded by our parents, I was maximizing my 401k, investing in index funds, and saving every penny I could. Software engineering pays well, especially when you're good at it and willing to work extra hours. 6 months ago, I started seriously looking at real estate. Not just any real estate, beachfront property. There's this incredible condo development called Sunset Shores about 2 hours from our city. Ocean views, private beach access, resort-style amenities. The units started around $400,000, which would have been impossible for most people my age. But I'd been saving and investing for years. I had a substantial down payment ready, excellent credit, and a pre-approval letter from the bank. I'd been quietly touring units, working with a realtor, and negotiating terms. The day after my forgotten birthday, I signed the papers. I didn't tell anyone immediately. I just went about my normal routine, going to work, hitting the gym, meal prepping on Sundays. But inside, I felt this incredible sense of freedom. For the first time in my life, I'd done something purely for myself, something that proved I didn't need their validation or their money to build the life I wanted. 2 weeks later, Emma's birthday planning began in earnest. The family group chat was constantly buzzing with messages about venues, guest lists, and themes. This year's celebration, for her 24th birthday, was going to be even bigger than last year's. They'd rented the same Marriott ballroom but upgraded to the premium package. Professional floral arrangements, a live band, an open bar, and a 3-course plated dinner for 150 guests. My mom kept texting me updates about how excited Emma was, how much work the planning was taking, how expensive everything was getting. Each message felt like a little stab, but I just replied with supportive emojis and kept my mouth shut. The party was scheduled for a Saturday evening in June. That morning, I drove out to Sunset Shores for what had become my weekly check on the renovation progress. The contractor work was nearly finished, and it was looking incredible. 9th floor, corner unit, floor-to-ceiling windows overlooking the Atlantic Ocean. The morning sun was streaming through the living room, casting this golden light across the new hardwood floors. I stood there for a moment, just taking it in. This was mine. I'd earned it. I took some photos and, on impulse, posted them on my Instagram account. I rarely use social media, maybe a post every few months, but this felt worth sharing. The caption was simple: "New chapter starts now." Sometimes the best birthday gift is the one you give yourself. Beach emoji, #new home, #beach life, #worth the wait. I tagged the location and used hashtags that would make it clear this wasn't just a vacation rental. Then I put my phone away and drove to Emma's party, not thinking much about the post. My Instagram had maybe 50 followers, mostly college friends and a few coworkers. I didn't expect it to get much attention. Then I drove to Emma's party. The Marriott ballroom looked incredible, I had to admit. White roses everywhere, string quartet playing in the corner, guests in cocktail attire mingling around cocktail tables draped in blush pink linens. Emma looked stunning in a designer dress that probably cost more than my monthly rent. I smiled, hugged people, made small talk, and played the supportive big sister role I'd perfected over the years. A few people mentioned they'd seen my Instagram post. Apparently some of Emma's friends followed me from college, and the hashtags had made it discoverable to others. Most comments were positive, congratulating me on the new place. But social media algorithms have a way of spreading content, especially when it generates engagement. What started as a simple post to my 50 followers had been shared and discovered by others throughout the day. Around 9 p.m., just as Emma was giving her thank you speech to the room, I noticed my mom frantically checking her phone. Her face went from confused to shocked to something I'd never seen before, panic mixed with fury. She'd found my Instagram post. One of her friends who followed me had shared it in a group chat, asking if she knew about Sarah's big purchase. The post had been lived for nearly 12 hours, gathering likes and comments throughout the day while my family planned and celebrated Emma's party, completely oblivious. What she saw was my beautiful new beachfront condo, posted on what should have been a celebration of Emma's birthday. But more than that, she saw the price tag I'd implied with my hashtags and location tags. She saw that I'd been capable of making a major life decision and financial investment without them. She saw that while they were spending $15,000 on a single party, I was building actual wealth and security. The speech wrapped up, and my mom immediately cornered me by the dessert table. "Sarah, we need to talk. What is this post about a condo?" I kept my voice calm and pleasant. "Oh, did you see that? I closed on a place at Sunset Shores last month. I meant to mention it, but you've all been so busy with party planning." Her eyes went wide. "Sunset Shores? Sarah, those units cost. How did you? Why didn't you tell us?" "I guess I thought you'd be busy," I said with a shrug. Emma's had so much going on. My dad appeared at my mom's elbow, looking equally stunned. "Sarah, honey, did you really buy a beachfront condo? How is that even possible on your salary?" The question stung, even though I'd expected it. "I've been saving for years, Dad. Living below my means, investing wisely, building credit. You know, all those boring financial things Emma never wants to hear about." By now, Emma had noticed the tense conversation happening and drifted over, still glowing from her party high. "What's going on?" she asked, looking between our parents' shocked faces and my carefully neutral expression. "Your sister apparently bought a beach house," my mom said, her voice tight. Emma laughed. "Wait, what? Sarah, you bought a house? Like, actually bought one?" I pulled up the photos on my phone and showed her. Her expression shifted from amusement to confusion to something that looked almost like hurt. "This is really nice," she said quietly. "When did this happen?" "I closed a few weeks ago. Been working on it for months." "Months?" My dad's voice was getting louder, drawing attention from nearby guests. "Sarah, why didn't you come to us? We could have helped with a down payment, co-signed the loan." This was the moment I'd been unconsciously preparing for my entire life. "I didn't need help," I said simply. "I handled it myself." The silence that followed was deafening. Around us, party guests were starting to notice the tension, conversations quieting as people tuned into the family drama unfolding by the chocolate fountain. My mom recovered first. "Well, this is wonderful news, honey. We should celebrate. Maybe we can plan a housewarming party." "No," I said, cutting her off. "Thanks, but no. I don't really do parties, remember?" The barb hit its target. My mom's face flushed red. Emma was still staring at my phone, scrolling through the photos. "Sarah, this place must have cost $425,000, I said matter-of-factly. "Plus closing costs and furnishing, so closer to $460 all in." The number hung in the air like a bomb. I watched my family do the math in their heads, $460,000 that I'd saved and borrowed and invested to make this happen, all while they assumed I was barely scraping by in my little apartment with my cute computer job. Emma handed my phone back, her expression unreadable. "Congratulations," she said, but her voice was flat. My dad was shaking his head. "I just don't understand why you didn't tell us. We're your family, Sarah. We should have been involved in such a big decision." "Like you were involved in my birthday this year?" The words slipped out before I could stop them. Another silence. This one was somehow worse. "Sarah," my mom started, her voice taking on that patronizing tone I knew so well, "you know how busy things have been, for 28 years? I asked. "It's been busy for 28 years straight?" People were definitely staring now. The string quartet had stopped playing. Emma looked mortified, my parents looked furious, and I felt free. "You know what?" I continued, my voice still calm but carrying clearly across the quiet room. "It doesn't matter. I stopped needing your approval a long time ago. The condo is just proof that I was right too." I set down my champagne glass and grabbed my purse. "Emma, happy birthday. The party is beautiful. You deserve it." And then I left. The drive home gave me time to process what had just happened. I'd finally said it. After 28 years of swallowing my disappointment and making excuses for their behavior, I'd finally called them out. And I'd done it at Emma's party, in front of 150 people, while revealing that I was more financially successful than they'd ever imagined. It felt terrible and wonderful at the same time. But as the adrenaline wore off and I pulled into my apartment parking lot, the full weight of what I'd done started to sink in. I'd essentially nuked my relationship with my family in the most public way possible. Part of me felt vindicated, but another part felt sick with anxiety about what would come next. I barely slept that night, replaying the confrontation over and over in my head. Had I gone too far? Should I have handled it differently? By 3 a.m., I was second-guessing everything, wondering if I should call and apologize. But then I remembered the look on my mom's face when she'd seen my condo photos, not pride or excitement for my achievement, but shock and something that looked almost like betrayal. As if I'd somehow wronged them by succeeding without their knowledge or permission. That thought crystallized something for me. This wasn't really about birthday parties or family dinners. It was about control, and about their inability to see me as anything other than the supporting character in Emma's story. I spent the next day at my new condo, arranging furniture and trying to ignore my phone, which was buzzing constantly with texts and calls. The ocean was unusually calm, and I found myself standing at the floor-to-ceiling windows for long stretches, just watching the waves roll in and out. The condo was starting to feel like home. I'd hired an interior designer named Patricia who specialized in coastal properties, and she'd helped me create a space that felt both sophisticated and relaxed. Light blues and whites, natural textures, furniture that was both beautiful and comfortable. Everything was exactly what I wanted, no compromises, no committee decisions, no one else's opinions to consider. Around noon, I ventured to the small cafe downstairs in the building's lobby. The barista, a woman about my age named Rachel, recognized me from my previous visits during the buying process. "Hey, you're the one who bought 9C, right?" she said with a smile. "How are you settling in?" "Really well, thanks. The place is incredible." "I bet. That's one of the best units in the building. Corner location, amazing views. You must be doing pretty well for yourself to swing that at your age." "Sorry, I don't mean to be nosy. It's just rare to see someone in their 20s buying here." "Late 20s, I corrected with a laugh. "And I've been saving for a long time." As she made my latte, Rachel chatted easily about the building amenities, the best local restaurants, and the community of year-round residents versus summer renters. It was exactly the kind of normal, friendly conversation I'd been craving. No family drama, no loaded questions about my choices or motivations. "You know," she said as she handed me my drink, "there's a resident happy hour every Friday evening on the rooftop deck. Mostly people our age who live here full-time. You should come next week, I think you'd fit right in." I thanked her and took my coffee back upstairs, feeling lighter than I had in weeks. This was what I'd been working toward, a community where I could just be myself, where my worth wasn't measured against someone else's achievements. But I couldn't avoid my phone forever. I finally checked the messages around evening, and my heart sank at the sheer volume. 37 missed calls, 62 text messages, and notifications from every social media platform I'd ever signed up for. "My mom, Sarah, what you did tonight was completely inappropriate. We need to discuss this like adults." "My dad, I'm disappointed in how you handled yourself at Emma's party. Call me." "Emma, I can't believe you did that at my birthday party. You ruined everything." And then, surprisingly, a few supportive messages from cousins and family friends who'd been at the party. My cousin Jake, "Dude, that was epic. Good for you." My mom's friend Carol, "Saw your new place on Instagram. Gorgeous. You should be proud." Emma's friend Melissa, "Hey Sarah, I know tonight was weird, but that condo looks amazing. You've always been the smart one." But the real drama started on social media. By Sunday morning, my original Instagram post had dozens of comments and shares. Apparently, several people from the party had screenshotted and shared it with their own commentary. Some supportive, some critical, all generating more attention than I'd ever received online. The comments on my original post were a mixed bag. "Wait, Sarah, this is your place? Holy shit, good for you. Gorgeous. You've always been so smart with money. Love the timing of this post, smirking face emoji. This is what happens when you work hard instead of relying on mommy and daddy." But there were nastier ones too. "Imagine being so jealous of your sister that you try to upstage her birthday party. This is so calculated and mean." Some people really can't let others have their moment. I tried not to read them, but it was like a car accident, impossible to look away. Then Emma posted her own response. It was a long Instagram story, posted in multiple parts, with a photo of herself crying in her party dress. The text was a masterpiece of passive-aggressive manipulation. "Last night was supposed to be one of the happiest nights of my life. My family has always been there for each other through everything. We're not perfect, but we love each other unconditionally. I thought that was enough. I guess I was wrong. When your own sister chooses to hurt you on your birthday, it makes you question everything. I'm grateful for everyone who came to celebrate with me last night, even when the evening ended so painfully. Sometimes the people closest to you are the ones who can hurt you most. I don't understand what I did to deserve this, but I'm choosing to focus on gratitude and the family members who truly support me. #family, #grateful, #heartbroken. The post went viral within our social circle. Comments poured in. Emma, you didn't deserve this on your special day. Some people are so jealous they can't let others have their moment. Family should lift each other up, not tear each other down. You're handling this with so much grace. I would have lost it. Your sister sounds toxic. Sometimes you have to cut people out of your life. But there were other comments too. Wait, what actually happened? This sounds like there's more to the story. Didn't Sarah buy a house? Why is that a bad thing? I've known this family for years, and Emma always gets everything while Sarah gets ignored. Maybe there's a reason Sarah felt like she had to do something dramatic. The last comment was from my high school friend Jessica, who'd watched this dynamic play out for over a decade. By Monday morning, the battlefield had expanded beyond Instagram. Emma had posted similar messages on Facebook and TikTok, each garnering hundreds of reactions and shares. Her friends rallied around her, sharing stories of their own family drama and positioning Emma as the victim of a cruel sister's jealousy. But my friends and former classmates weren't staying quiet either. Jessica posted a long Facebook comment that got shared dozens of times. I've known the Martinez family since high school, and I have to say something. Emma is sweet, but she's lived her entire life in a bubble of privilege that her parents created. Every birthday was a massive production, every achievement was celebrated with expensive parties and gifts. Meanwhile, Sarah worked 2 jobs through college, lived in the cheapest dorm room available, and I literally watched her parents forget her 21st birthday because they were planning Emma's high school graduation party. This isn't about jealousy or sibling rivalry, it's about 28 years of being treated like the afterthought child. Good for Sarah for finally standing up for herself. That comment opened the floodgates. Other people who'd gone to school with us began sharing their own memories and observations. I remember going to Emma's Sweet 16 and asking where Sarah was. Her mom said she was too busy studying to come to the party. Later I found out Sarah had been grounded for getting a B+ in calculus while Emma had gotten a car for maintaining a C+ average. Sarah tutored me through statistics our senior year and never accepted payment because she knew my family couldn't afford it. Meanwhile, Emma was getting a credit card with no limit for emergencies, aka shopping trips. I worked at the same restaurant as Sarah during college breaks. She would pick up every extra shift she could get while Emma was posting Instagram stories from Cabo with her friends, paid for by mom and dad, obviously. The narrative was building, and it wasn't flattering to my family. People began sharing screenshots of Emma's elaborate birthday parties over the years, contrasting them with their memories of my notably absent celebrations. Someone even found old Facebook photos from our teenage years showing Emma's room filled with birthday presents while I was working at a retail job. My parents tried damage control. My dad posted a rare Facebook status, family disagreements should be handled privately. We love both our daughters equally and are proud of all their achievements. We ask for privacy during this time. But the internet doesn't respect privacy requests when there's drama to dissect. Comments flooded in under his post. If you love them equally, why don't you have any posts celebrating Sarah's achievements? Maybe you should have thought about privacy before making one daughter's life public while hiding the others. Actions speak louder than words, Robert. I've seen Emma's parties over the years but never heard about Sarah's. The comments got worse from there. People began sharing screenshots of my parents' Facebook history, showing years of posts about Emma's achievements, parties, and milestones, while finding virtually nothing about me. Someone created a side-by-side comparison that went viral in our local community groups. Even more damaging, people started connecting my parents' furniture business, Martinez Family Furniture, to the family drama. Reviews began appearing on their Google business page. If they can't treat their own daughter fairly, how do they treat their employees? Great furniture, but maybe hire managers who understand the value of all their family members. Wouldn't trust a business owner who plays obvious favorites. My mom tried a different approach, calling me directly on Tuesday afternoon. Sarah, you need to make this stop, she said without preamble. People are saying horrible things about our family business. Your father is getting negative reviews on Google from people who've connected our furniture stores to this situation. They're saying we're bad employers because of how we treat our children. This is affecting our livelihood. I was sitting on my condo's balcony, watching dolphins play in the surf. I didn't ask anyone to write reviews, Mom. But you started this. That post, that confrontation at Emma's party, you knew this would happen. Actually, I didn't. I just posted a photo of my new home. Everything else has been other people sharing their own observations about our family. Their observations are wrong. Her voice was getting shrill. We have always supported both of you girls equally. If people can't see that, it's because they're jealous of our success. Name one time you supported me the way you support Emma, I said quietly. Silence. Mom? One time. One birthday party, one achievement celebration, one time you posted about me on social media, one time you bragged about me to your friends the way you do about Emma. More silence. That's not fair, Sarah. You and Emma have different personalities. You're more private, more independent. We celebrated you in ways that fit who you are. By forgetting my birthday entirely? That was one time. It was not one time. My voice was getting louder now. It was every time. Every single year, my birthday was an afterthought, an inconvenience, something to get through so you could focus on Emma's next milestone. I heard her crying, which should have made me feel guilty. Instead, I felt oddly detached. I don't know how to fix this, she whispered. You can't, I said. But you could start by admitting it happened instead of gaslighting me into believing my memories are wrong. After I hung up, I realized my hands were shaking. 28 years of suppressed anger don't just disappear overnight, and every conversation with my parents was like picking at a partially healed wound. By Wednesday, I was getting friend requests from people I hadn't talked to in years, all wanting the inside scoop. Local news bloggers were reaching out for interviews. A lifestyle Instagram account with 50,000 followers had reposted my condo photos asking for the tea on the family drama. The attention was overwhelming and frankly exhausting. I'd gone from being the invisible daughter to being the center of a very public controversy, and I wasn't sure which felt worse. That evening, I decided to escape to the grocery store near my condo to stock up on basics. I was comparing pasta sauce options when someone tapped my shoulder. Sarah? Sarah Martinez? I turned around to see Amanda Chen, a girl who'd been in my AP class's senior year of high school. She'd always been nice, but we'd never been particularly close. Oh, hi Amanda. How are you? Her expression was a mixture of excitement and sympathy. I'm good. But more importantly, how are you? I saw all the stuff online about your family and your new place. That condo looks absolutely gorgeous, by the way. Thanks, I said, genuinely touched by her enthusiasm. It's been a crazy few days. I bet. Look, I know we weren't super close in school, but I wanted you to know, a lot of us always noticed how differently your parents treated you and Emma. It wasn't fair then, and I'm glad you finally called them out on it. She paused, then continued. Actually, my husband and I are having a housewarming party next weekend for some friends who just bought their first place. Would you want to come? It might be nice to hang out with people who aren't obsessed with family drama. I realized I'd been holding my breath. That sounds perfect, actually. Thank you. We exchanged numbers, and as I finished my shopping, I felt some of the tension in my shoulders start to release. Maybe this whole mess would actually lead to some positive changes in my social life too. But the drama wasn't over yet. On Thursday morning, Emma called me directly for the first time in months. Sarah, we need to talk, she said, her voice tight with emotion. Okay, I said carefully. This has gone way too far. People are being horrible to me online, saying I'm spoiled and entitled and that I don't deserve anything I have. They're attacking my job, my relationship, everything. Some woman commented on my LinkedIn profile calling me a princess who's never worked for anything. This isn't just about family anymore, it's affecting my professional reputation. I felt a stab of guilt. Whatever issues I had with Emma, I hadn't wanted her to face professional consequences. Emma, I'm sorry that's happening. I never asked people to attack you personally. But you started it. Her voice cracked. You could have talked to me privately, or to Mom and Dad. You didn't have to humiliate our entire family in public. Would it have mattered? I asked. If I'd come to you privately and said I felt neglected and overlooked, would you have listened? Would you have believed me? Silence. Because I tried that, Emma. Multiple times over the years. Remember when I told you it hurt that you got a graduation party with 200 people while I got dinner at Applebee's? You told me I was being dramatic. Remember when I mentioned that Mom and Dad had never posted a single photo of my college achievements while your Instagram was constantly being shared on their Facebook? You said I was being petty and jealous. She started to speak, then stopped. The truth is, as long as you were getting everything you wanted, you didn't want to see that I was getting nothing. Because seeing it would have meant acknowledging that your perfect family wasn't perfect, and that your parents' love might not be as unconditional as you thought. Emma was crying now. That's not. I never thought. I know you didn't think about it. That's exactly the problem. After we hung up, I sat in my living room for a long time, staring out at the ocean. The conversation had been brutal but necessary. For years, I'd protected Emma from the truth about our family dynamic, making excuses for our parents' behavior and swallowing my own hurt to keep the peace. But keeping the peace had come at the cost of my own well-being and self-respect. My phone buzzed with a text from my dad. Your mother is in bed crying. She hasn't eaten anything in 2 days. I hope you're happy. The guilt manipulation was so obvious it was almost laughable. But it still worked, at least partially. I didn't want my mom to be suffering, even if I was angry with her. I texted back, I'm not happy that Mom is upset. But I'm also not responsible for managing her emotions when she's confronted with the consequences of her actions. He didn't respond. That weekend, I needed to start packing up my old apartment since I'd given notice and would be moving out at the end of July. The lease timing worked perfectly with the condo renovations. As I taped up boxes of books and kitchen supplies, I reflected on the past 3 years I'd spent in this little one-bedroom place. It had been a good apartment, affordable, safe, close to work. But it had also been a symbol of my small life, my modest expectations, my willingness to accept less than I deserved. Loading everything into the moving truck felt like shedding an old skin. The condo, by contrast, represented possibility. Not just financial success, but a commitment to believing I was worth investing in. Every mortgage payment would be a reminder that I'd bet on myself and won. My neighbor Mrs. Peterson, an elderly woman who'd always been kind to me, came out to say goodbye as I finished loading the truck. "I saw some of that business online," she said with a knowing look. "About your family." I winced. "Yeah, it's been a bit of a mess." She patted my arm. "Honey, I raised 4 children, and I can tell you right now, parents who truly love their kids equally don't need to keep explaining how much they love their kids equally. Actions speak louder than words, and your actions these past few years have shown more character and strength than most people twice your age." She pressed a plate of homemade cookies into my hands. "You enjoy that beautiful new home. You earned it." As I drove away from my old apartment for the last time, I felt like I was closing a chapter on more than just my living situation. I was leaving behind the version of myself who'd been willing to accept crumbs and call them a feast. "Sarah, this has gotten completely out of hand," she said without preamble. "You need to post something clarifying the situation. People are saying terrible things about our family." "What terrible things?" I asked. That we favor Emma over you. That we forgot your birthday. That we don't support you." "Mom," I said quietly, "those things are all true." Silence. "Sarah, we have always loved you and Emma equally." "No," I interrupted. "You haven't. And now everyone can see it. This is destroying Emma," she continued, her voice rising. "She's gotten dozens of messages from people asking her about the favoritism. She's humiliated. Her friends are asking questions. This could affect her career, her relationships. Like my career and relationships were affected by growing up feeling invisible." Another silence. "What do you want from us, Sarah?" It was a fair question. What did I want? An apology? A promise to do better? A retroactive childhood where I mattered as much as Emma? "I want you to stop pretending this is my fault," I said finally. "I want you to acknowledge that you've treated us differently our entire lives. And I want you to understand that I don't need your approval or support anymore. I've built a good life without it. Sarah, I have to go. I'm meeting with a contractor about renovating my new beachfront condo." I hung up. The renovations were actually true. I decided to update the kitchen and add a home office space, and these projects were scheduled to be completed over the next month. The contractor was a local guy named Mike Thompson who'd been recommended by my realtor. When he showed up for our appointment the following week, he looked familiar. "Sarah Martinez?" he said, recognition dawning. "I think I went to high school with you." "Mike Thompson?" I remembered him, quiet kid, played soccer, graduated a year behind me. "Oh wow, Mike. How are you?" He grinned. "Good. Really good. Heard through the grapevine you bought this place. It's gorgeous." We spent an hour going over renovation plans, and I found myself relaxing for the first time all week. Mike was easy to talk to, completely uninterested in family drama, and genuinely excited about my renovation ideas. As he was packing up his tools, he said, "You know, I saw some of that stuff online about your family. For what it's worth, I always thought you were the cool Martinez sister. Emma was popular, but you were smart and real. I had a huge crush on you junior year." I laughed, feeling lighter than I had in days. "Really? Really? Want to grab dinner sometime? I promise not to bring up any family drama." I said yes. Over the next few weeks, life started finding a new rhythm. I threw myself into the condo renovations, spending weekends at Sunset Shores picking out fixtures and paint colors. Mike and I had dinner twice, then 3 times, then he started staying over on weekends to help with smaller projects. The social media storm gradually died down, but not before causing some lasting damage to my family's reputation. My parents' business reviews suddenly included comments about how they treated their employees if they couldn't even treat their own daughter fairly. Emma had to delete several social media accounts after the harassment got too intense. I almost felt bad about it. Almost. 3 months later, I was hosting my first housewarming party at the condo. Nothing extravagant, just a casual barbecue for 20 close friends, college roommates, and coworkers. Mike was grilling burgers on my new deck while everyone admired the ocean view. My phone buzzed with a text from an unknown number. "This is Emma. Can we talk?" I stepped inside and called the number. "Sarah?" Emma's voice was smaller than I'd ever heard it. "Hi, Emma. I want to apologize. For everything. Not just the party, but everything." I sat down on my new couch, looking out at my friends laughing on the deck. "What brought this on?" "Therapy," she said with a bitter laugh. "Mom and Dad suggested it after everything blew up. They thought I was taking the family stress too hard. But my therapist. She asked me to really think about how you and I were raised. To compare our experiences objectively." She paused, and I could hear her crying. "Sarah, I never realized how different it was for you. I thought everyone got what they needed in different ways. But when I actually listed out our birthdays, our achievements, the way Mom and Dad talked about us, it's so obvious. I can't believe I never saw it. Emma, no, let me finish. I was a spoiled brat. I am a spoiled brat. And worse than that, I never stood up for you. All those times you tried to tell me how you felt, I dismissed it because acknowledging it would have meant acknowledging that my perfect life was built on your pain. I was crying now too. I don't know how to fix it, she continued. I can't go back and give you the childhood you deserved. I can't make Mom and Dad see what they did. But I want to try to be a real sister to you now, if you'll let me. Through the sliding door, I could see Mike organizing a volleyball game on the beach. My coworker Sarah was helping my college roommate set up a speaker system. People who actually cared about me, who celebrated my successes without resentment or surprise. Emma, I said, I appreciate the apology. I really do. But I need time to think about what a relationship between us would look like now. I understand. But Sarah? Yeah? That condo is incredible. And you buying it yourself, with no help from anyone. I'm proud of you. I should have said that first. After we hung up, I rejoined my party. Mike wrapped an arm around my waist as we watched the sunset paint the sky orange and pink. Good call? He asked. My sister. First real conversation we've had in? Maybe ever. That's progress. I leaned into him, watching my friends enjoy the home I built with my own hard work and careful planning. You know what the crazy part is? I said. I spent so many years waiting for them to see me, to value me, to include me. But I never needed their validation to become who I was meant to be. Mike squeezed my hand. Sometimes the best revenge is just living well. He was right. The beach house wasn't really about revenge, although it had certainly served that purpose. It was about proving to myself that I was worthy of investment, of luxury, of celebration, even if that celebration was quiet and came from within. My phone buzzed with notifications from the Instagram post I'd made earlier, photos from the housewarming party, genuine smiles and laughter, friends raising their glasses in a toast on my deck overlooking the ocean. The caption read, "Grateful for chosen family and new beginnings." Sometimes the best chapters start when you stop waiting for permission to write your own story. The comments were universally supportive this time. No drama, no family feuds, just people genuinely happy to see me happy. Later that evening, after everyone had gone home and Mike was loading the dishwasher, I sat on my deck with a glass of wine and reflected on the past few months. The confrontation at Emma's party had been messy and public and probably not the most mature way to handle 28 years of resentment. But it had also been necessary. For the first time in my life, I wasn't waiting for someone else to remember my birthday, to celebrate my achievements, or to recognize my worth. I was building a life that reflected my own values and priorities, surrounded by people who chose to be there. My phone rang one more time. My parents, calling together from their landline. Sarah? My mom's voice was tentative. Hi, Mom. Dad. Honey, we've been doing a lot of thinking since everything happened, my dad said. We want to make things right. We're planning a belated birthday celebration for you, my mom added quickly. Something really special. The country club has availability next month, and we could invite everyone. I started laughing. I couldn't help it. Mom, Dad, you still don't get it. Get what? I don't want a big party thrown by you to make yourselves feel better about 28 years of neglect. That's not what this was about. Then what do you want? My dad asked, frustration creeping into his voice. I looked out at the moonlight reflecting on the ocean, at the home I'd created for myself, at the life I built without waiting for anyone's permission or approval. Nothing, I said. I don't want anything from you anymore. And that's actually the most freeing thing I've ever realized. After I hung up, I posted one final Instagram story. Just a simple photo of my deck chairs facing the ocean, with a caption, "The view from 28. Finally exactly where I'm supposed to be." The responses came quickly from friends who understood exactly what I meant. People who'd watched me grow into someone who no longer needed external validation to know her worth. Sometimes the best revenge isn't dramatic confrontation or public humiliation. Sometimes it's just refusing to keep playing a game where you'll never win and building something beautiful with your own hands instead. I turned off my phone and went inside to help Mike finish cleaning up. Tomorrow I had contractor meetings and design decisions to make. Real life to live, in a home that was truly mine. It had taken 28 years, but I finally understood the difference between being forgotten and being free.